guys, it's Miss Jordan from RPC, and we are in week 3 of August talking about creativity. So this morning, or maybe it's afternoon when you're watching this, you and me and Jesus are going to spend some time together. We're going to worship, we're going to hear a new story about someone named Esther, and we're going to talk about being creative. Here's the cool thing about creativity. When I think of that word, the first picture that pops into my head is like art, right? Someone that was good at painting or drawing pictures. And while those are some ways that people are creative, not everyone is creative like that. And at the same time, everyone was made to be creative, even people that aren't good at art, like Miss Jordan. If you saw my artwork, actually, you know what? Freeze. Let me show you. So here's an example of my level of art. Okay, I drew what was supposed to be Mickey Mouse for my almost two-year-old son, okay? And he did the rest, right? Beautiful artwork. He's not even 2, we gotta cut him some slack. But does that really look like Mickey? Kind of looks like a teddy bear. So this is my level of art, right? And that's okay if it's not my best gift. It's okay if that's not the thing that I am super duper great at. I'm creative in other ways. And so today I wanted to think about some other people, some other jobs, some other ways that we can be creative and that we can show creativity. One way that I thought about, because school is coming up, I know that you've either started school, you're about to start school, and you may be a little nervous and you may be really excited. School may look a little different this year, and I know that students and teachers are having to be really creative. Creativity is thinking outside of the box, right? Doing things differently than the person next to you means that you're doing it creatively. And teachers this year are having to teach in a different way than they used to, and students are having to learn in a different way that they used to. Maybe you're going to school in person, it's still probably gonna look a little different, and maybe you're going to school from home, and you're learning a lot of things off of the computer from a teacher who's teaching you in a video. I know church looks a little different lately, doesn't it? So we're all being creative, and that's just one example of how we can use the way that God made us. He made us especially to be creative, to solve problems just like this. Here are a few other jobs of people that are really creative. Okay, one person that you may not think of off the top of your head that's really creative are construction workers and people that build things. They're amazing. They have to use a ton of creativity. Think of all the things that are built by people. Our homes, the roads, your school, our church. There's so many different places and things that have to be built. That takes a lot of creativity. So God made those people, especially like them, to be able to do things like that. Has Miss Jordan ever built a house? No. But I'm really glad that other people are gifted in that way and they can do that. That's amazing. Here's another job that you may not think of as creative. Hey, another person that you may not think of off the top of your head as someone who's creative is someone who works with food. A chef or a baker. Look, check it out. I made these cinnamon rolls this morning for breakfast. Can you see them? Woo! Yum! And that is one way that I'm creative, right? So think about all the people that have made you food. Maybe there is an awesome cafeteria at school where you get lunch. Maybe it's your mom or your dad or your grandma or your grandpa. Maybe it's an older brother or sister, but I know that people have made you food before, and we are so glad that they can be creative to do that. Okay, one of my last examples are doctors and nurses and people that work with medicine. They have to be really creative and find ways to take care of us when we're sick, right? And ways to keep us healthy. So I thought, while we're talking about creativity and different people and jobs that are creative that we may not always think about as creative jobs, that we could do an experiment. So here I have some baking soda, right? And I put some red food coloring in it. Now, when the baking soda is just like this, just powder, it probably doesn't think that it could ever be a giant foaming, bubbling, put some more food coloring, pink creation. Do you think that it thinks it's gonna be that? I don't think so. Baking soda just looks like baking soda to me. But creativity, imagining what else something could be because we're all made in God's image and can do anything because of God, means that stuff like this can happen. Oh my, oh my. Ah! Okay, I got that all cleaned up. That was almost bad. But here's what I'm trying to say. Here's the point. If white powdery baking soda with a little bit of creativity can become red, pinkish, bubbling foam, then don't you think that you and I can be anything? I think so too. You and I were made in God's image, and we were made to be creative because we come from the greatest creator ever. God is the greatest creator that has ever been. And you and me were made in his image. Let me say it again. You and me were made in God's image. How cool is that? So there's so many ways that you and I every single day can be creative in helping other people, in loving other people, in sharing how much Jesus loves them. It's pretty cool. Now, today we have a story, right? And I told you it's about a girl named Esther. And Esther is used in a big way. God takes her life and does something incredible with it. He gives her a really big job. So you guys watch. We're going to learn our Bible story, then come back for a little bit of worship time and our memory verse, and I will see you soon. Okay, so now that we did our experiment, we talked about creative people and what different people's purposes are. That's kind of hard to say. What people's purposes are. I want you to think about what your purpose could be. So this is a great time to go grab mom or dad or an older brother or sister and think about that. What do you think your purpose could be? And that could be different things. That could be right now, like we're about to start this new school year, right? So what could your purpose be in this next school year? Maybe it's to be a great friend. Maybe it's to be a great student and practice math because that's something that you think is really tricky. Maybe you're thinking about longer term, bigger picture, and you have a dream one day to be a doctor, or maybe a veterinarian, or maybe a baker. Whatever you think your purpose could be, no matter what it is, God can always use you and me and our stories to help people, to change people, to love on people, no matter what we're doing. Every job has an opportunity to share God's love with other people and to make the world a better place. So I want you to think about that right now. What do you think your purpose could be?
The Bible. It's 66 books of history, stories, letters, and poetry that fit together to form God's one big story. The epic adventure of how He created us and loves us so much that He made a way to rescue us. As we travel through the Bible, from Genesis to Revelation, we discover people who met God and found their lives changed forever. Now, for an amazing story. Inspired by the Book of Esther.
Esther was the queen of Persia.
Wait, what? Queen?
Esther didn't become queen in the usual way. See, her father wasn't a king, and she wasn't from a noble family.
It's just me and cousin Mordecai.
In fact, Esther was Jewish. Many of God's people had been captured and brought to Babylon when their home, Judah, was conquered. Then Babylon was taken over by Persia. So Esther grew up in a land that wasn't her own. When Esther's parents died, her cousin Mordecai raised her as his very own daughter.
Always remember what our scriptures say. Love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul. Love Him with all your strength.
One day, a new king named Xerxes came to power in Persia. He was so impulsive that he actually fired his queen, Vashti, simply for refusing to show up at a wild party.
She will never see me again.
When Xerxes had finally calmed down, he had realized he now had no queen.
I have no queen.
He would have to find a new one.
I must find a new one.
So the king decided to hold a contest. He ordered his officials to gather the most beautiful young women in the land and put them through an entire year of beauty treatments. Esther was one of those girls chosen.
Cousin Mordecai, what do I do?
Don't tell anyone you're from a Jewish family.
I have chosen my new queen. Drum roll. My new queen is Esther.
Me?
Assume the queenly royal crown. I might have to resize it.
Just as Xerxes had so impulsively switched queens, he also promoted a royal official named Haman higher than all of the other nobles in the kingdom.
Bow to me, you fools!
Haman was delighted when all of the officials outside the palace bowed low before him. When he discovered that Mordecai refused to bow, he was enraged.
You have to bow! Somebody make him bow!
Haman was so angry. He made a plan to destroy not only Mordecai, but all the Jews in the land. He laid it out for the king.
Your Majesty, these Jews live differently than everyone else. They don't obey your laws.
Fiddlesticks! That's just wrong.
Precisely. Give the order to destroy them.
Consider it done.
Xerxes agreed to the terrible decree. Messengers took the letter all over the kingdom.
Hear ye, hear ye. On the 13th day of the 12th month, all Jews are to be killed. Hear ye, hear ye.
When Mordecai and the other Jews discovered the horrible news, they dressed in rough clothing and wept bitterly. Mordecai sent a message to Esther in the palace, telling her what Haman had done.
You must ask the king to save our people.
Esther was devastated. She sent a response to her cousin.
No one can come before the king unless he sends for them. If I do it, I'll die, unless he reaches out his gold scepter to me.
Mordecai sent his answer right back.
You may not escape, even though you're queen. Who knows? It's possible that you became queen for just a time like this.
He's right. Here, tell this to Mordecai. Gather all the Jews. Don't eat anything for 3 days. I and my servants will fast too. Then I'll go to the king.
Esther faced an impossible dilemma, but she took 3 days to prepare her heart and her mind.
Bring my most beautiful royal robes.
Heart racing, Esther entered the throne room. Across the long hall, she saw the king seated high on the throne. Breathless, she waited for him to see her.
Please, please, please.
The king looked up. His dark eyes locked on Esther's face. And then he smiled. He reached out his golden scepter.
Thank God.
What is it, Queen Esther? I'll give you anything, up to half my kingdom.
Esther could have made her request right away, but she knew she would have a better chance if she made the king curious.
King Xerxes, if it pleases you, come to a feast I prepared today. Oh, and bring Haman.
Consider it done.
Esther created an elaborate feast for the king and his number 2 official.
Look at me, you peasants, invited to the queen's banquet.
At the meal, King Xerxes once again tried to discover what Esther wanted.
I'll give you anything, up to half my kingdom.
Once again, Esther held her ground and waited for the perfect moment.
I'd like you and Haman to come to another feast tomorrow. Then I'll answer your question.
The king agreed, and Haman spent the whole evening bragging to all of his friends.
You guys, the queen thinks I am the bomb.
But the second feast was a different story. As before, Esther prepared an incredible meal. Both Haman and the king were quick to dig in.
What do you want me to do for you? I'll give you up to half my kingdom.
Esther took a deep breath. Something told her this was the right moment.
Your Majesty, let me live. Please spare my people. We have been sold to be destroyed.
Haman paled and choked on his fillet, but the king's face flushed red with rage.
Who is the man who has dared to do such a thing?
Esther turned her gaze on Haman.
Haman is the one.
In a panic, Haman threw himself at the queen.
Totally didn't mean it. Please, please, please let me live.
You dare attack the queen? Take him away.
That very night, Haman was killed, and the king created a new order that would allow the Jews to be saved.
We will celebrate this day with great joy.
God had given Esther a surprising position in a foreign nation, and when the time was right, she would use all she had been given to save her people.
So what did you think about Esther? God gave her a purpose. He took her far from home and gave her a chance to help people when no one else could. And just like Esther, God created you for a purpose. That's awesome news. You and I have a special purpose, and we're creatively made to fulfill that purpose, even if we don't know what it is yet. And so what we can do is talk to God by praying, by reading our Bible, by worshiping, and the more time that we spend with him, the more clear that our purpose becomes. So we have a memory verse this month, right? This is week 3 of practicing it. So do it with me, stand up, get your wiggles out, and here's how it starts. Lord, you are great. You are really worthy of praise. No one can completely understand how great you are. Psalm, hold your hands out like a Bible, 145:3. Okay, let's try it again. Ready? Arms up. Lord, you are great. You are really worthy of praise. No one can completely understand how great you are. Psalm 145:3. Perfect job. Our memory verse is a way for us to keep God's word in our heart and in our mind no matter where we are, wherever we go, right? So memory verses are really special. Put it somewhere where you're going to see it. Maybe write it down, put it on the mirror in your bathroom, set it on your nightstand so that you can read it at some point every day throughout the week, and eventually it'll just be memorized in your head and you can take it with you everywhere that you go. Okay, worship was super great, and now I have a special announcement. If you are a 3rd grader, let me clarify, a 3rd grader that just finished 3rd grade, so you're about to be starting 4th grade. If you're one of those people, that means in just a couple weeks you are going to promote to the Big Tent. It's time for you to move up to a brand new grade and a brand new building. So whenever we come back to church and we're able to gather together in the same place, you guys won't be in the children's building anymore. You'll be in the Big Tent with Miss Anna. And Miss Anna is one of my great friends. She's wonderful. You're going to love her and you're going to have so much fun with her. And so on September 12th and 13th, you're going to move up, which means you're watching brand new videos with Miss Anna, and you won't be with me anymore. And I will miss you so much, but I'll always still be here. You can always say hi, you can always check in. And if you're a first or second grader that just finished first or second grade, you're gonna become a second and third grader this school year, and you are our new leaders. So I'm so excited for you guys to welcome our new first graders in, and we're gonna have the best year yet. We're gonna close in prayer, and Miss Anna has a little video. She wants to say hi for all of my third grade friends who are about to start fourth grade, and that'll be the end of our service today. So I'll see you guys next time. I miss you so much, and I'm so proud of you, and I can't wait to hear about your first day of school. Let's fold our hands and bow our heads. Dear God, thank you so much for every friend who's watching this service today. We had so much fun spending time together and spending time with you, learning about Esther and learning more about your word. God, just like Esther, we know that you have a purpose for our life. So we ask, God, that we would be close to you, that we would put our trust in you, and know that no matter what, when we do that, everything's gonna be okay. We love you so much. Amen. Bye.
What's up, brand new fourth graders? I am so excited to finally meet you. My name is Miss Anna, and I'm so excited that y'all are gonna come hang out in the big tent with me and all of our brand new fifth graders as soon as we come back together, which is gonna be awesome. I wanted to let you guys know what we're gonna do in the big tent. We're gonna worship, we're gonna play games, we're gonna hang out, we're gonna meet small group leaders, we're gonna eat lots of great food like cookies and donuts and popcorn, and it's awesome, and I love having you guys there. A weird fact or a fun thing that I can do is I can touch my nose with my tongue. You want to see? See? Lots of weird things, lots of fun stuff that we can do in the big tent. I can't wait to meet you guys. I can't wait to see you so soon. Bye!